Lisa, would you like to lead us in the pledge? Stand for it.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call.
Sorry.
That's fine, don't worry.
Jenny David.
Here.
Roger Mayhew.
Yes.
Charles Wiltie.
Present.
Craig Scott.
Here.
Serbrook.
Present.
Any additions or corrections, commissioners?
No.
Commissioner Serbrook, any additions or corrections? Public comment. Any public comment and agenda items only? Any public comment on the phone? Appointments. We have none. Discussion items. We have a fairly large agenda item, so I'm gonna request the commissioners try to stay on task and be respectful of time. 5A, medical examiner update. Lisa, come on up. Good evening. Thanks for coming.
Yes, thank you so
I
much.
have a binder that she's.
So I wanted to be thorough.
Oh.
Had a big task. Lots of things together for you. So thank you for allowing me to be so thorough and take the time so that we can have some resolution and I can and carry out the wishes that the board would have here for us. First, I would like to just a little bit of a background, because without the background, we don't know where we're going. So the background is, what have we been doing for the past year? So it is exactly 1 year that we have been serving the citizens of Ogemaw County, and we're very thankful to have done so. With that, this is a little bit of a snippet, the annual report of what we have. This is what you can expect me to release to you annually. So I thought I would start with it today, since it's been exactly 1 year. The number of cases that we've had, the manner of deaths, the cause of death, fall right in line with what the entire state has with our jurisdiction, and then also the country. One outlier is that most counties, the number 2 cause of death is accidental causes, and with Ogemaw County, that's not the case for you. So, you do have 10 accidents, which is the manner right underneath natural. But the heart disease, chronic respiratory disease, cancer are the top 3. Within those accidents, first trauma, fall, hypothermia. And then, of course, we've had 8 autopsies, 19 toxicologies, and that really is the summary. There have been 9 referrals to Gift of Life. So all the while, this is a very unexpected death category of people. The silver lining is that we have made those referral because it is statutorily our responsibility to make sure that the wishes of the people who have passed are still carried out. So that's what we have been doing. So why are we here today? What did you hire me to do? Right? So what did you hire me to do? Just in case we needed some clarification as to exactly the type of service that we offer and the type of service that you guys would want. I listed a couple of pages from the contract that was signed, and it listed that the general scope is that we do manage and coordinate every single thing that goes on. That doesn't mean that we personally do it, but we coordinate that. You can see here then in page 10 of the contract.
Is it gonna shut off?
No, the doors are locked.
Can you hear it all?
Yours works.
Mine work.
Gonna try to shut those.
Oh, I see.
Do we want to just hold on until it gets shut off? So. Make sure that.
I'm trying to be respectful of time, so I was going
Yeah,
a little fast. I'm
That's
sorry.
Oh, you're fine.
Stop me if it's ever.
No, you're
And so I
You're good.
heard Commissioner David say to be respectful of time, so I was.
Oh, yeah, we listen to her too. Huh?
That's right. Should I wait for that to be shut off or do you?
Yeah, it'll be just a minute. It's right down.
All right.
Last time I'll try mine.
Just to make sure, in case I forgot to put anything in your book, I have additional chapters in my book. In case there are questions that I am not the personal expert on our staff for.
There we go.
I do have a staff member on there. If we do need to ask them a question, is there a way to unmute them? at some
Sure.
point? Good, because my goal is to have resolution and not have to circle back. So,
Oh, somebody on there with
Yeah,
you?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I have our team
You good?
available.
Yep.
We can
Okay.
have them unmuted anytime,
Okay.
like right now.
Need them. I might be thorough enough in your book or the additional pages of my book. If not, we'll have something to refer to. Okay, so getting back to the contract, page 10 lists, as you asked me to do, Commissioner David, what the services that we offer and what is additional. And so the management overhead is there. The case-related death costs are then there. And that lists all of the case-related death costs. And then, of course, all of the cremation income, that is revenue for the department, and that is your basic budget. So I went ahead on the last page of that section and also put in the RFP. Your RFP was very lengthy, one of the most, therefore very thorough. But Tim does put a very thorough piece of RFP out there. So I responded, captured exactly what we said we would do. On the first page, the deceased transportation is there, the current model of our transportation. And then the payment structure. So I think I addressed all of the things that I was asked to do in the email from you, Fabian. So thank you for that. Moving on, how much have we spent then? And so we said that our budget would be approximate. I was almost spot on with the number of autopsies I thought that a county this size would have. So that was good 1 year later. Your budget for 2024, 2025 under MIFSM was 94,000. And we gave you a budget of 63,720. About halfway through the year now, we're approximately 28,400. So that actually is just about right in line. I guess that might come from doing this for 30 years. Not that I can predict death, but in some instances, we sort of know what's going to happen. What I did not note, I kind of went through quite quickly. What we also did for Ogemaw County in the past 12 months is we closed all of these cases out for you that were pending from your last medical examiner. So these were everything that was left undone that was not reflected inside of that annual report. So I just wanted to let you know that these were the cases that we had to go back, search, and really try and close out. So we did not reflect that in annual report, but we thought that that was notable. So what are we here to discuss today? We did a deep dive, and I have all the documentation on this great big chart here. This is each of the cases that we did and how the disposition happened. So we're here today to discuss transportation and storage. So that is our goal. And then I wanted to give you exactly what the transportation and storage cases that we're talking about. So specifically, no next of kin on scene. So out of those 97 cases that we did, we had 88% of them where a family member was able to choose the funeral home. We had 8 of them, 8% approximately, whereas we were taking jurisdiction over the case and transporting under the medical examiner authority for an autopsy. And then there left the 4 cases where there was no next of kin on scene when the decedent left the scene. What happened after that was we either found the next of kin or were not able to find because there was no next of kin. One of those, we found them the very next day. Sorry for your loss. Okay, yes. Oh, I'd like to stay with the same funeral home that you happen to take because that's who I would have chose. That was fantastic. The other 3 ended up unclaimed because they did not have a family member that was willing to take possession and or they simply did not even have any next of kin. So there was 3. So with that, I wanted to talk about the cases that actually leave without the next of kin being there to say, yes, I choose you, funeral home A. Okay, so that was what we were talking about when we met back in January here. So these are the cases that we're talking about. We're talking specifically over the past 12 months, these 4 cases. Okay. 8 of them are going to leave under our jurisdiction only. And with all 8 of those cases, we had a transport company that came up, moved the body, went back down. And I believe in a later chapter, you'll see the exact cost that incurred. But right now we're talking about these 4 no next of kin on scene cases. So then let's go into the, is it legal? So is it legal? Medical examiner hold. So I did bring this to the last meeting. I left with, Mr. David tasked me with going out and seeing if I could find that communication from Laura. Yes. And Mark was there too. And so I did, yeah, I almost brought a phone log. I did have a half-hour conversation with this gentleman here, Marshall Ogan. You can see in our communications, he at some point did say, I'll get back with you. And then he did finally on February 27th. So thank you for your patience and waiting for me to show up, but there was a lot of information for me to get. He did eventually say, we do not give legal advice. You may seek advice from an attorney. And so then that's what I did. So that's on the next page. The next page was I asked both Ogemaw County and 3 other counties to go ahead, and they were very gracious to put forward the funds and ask their attorney to go ahead and get us interpretation. So I didn't just get one interpretation, I got 3 different ones. So listed here are the attorneys' interpretations, the county attorneys that all said it is perfectly legal, valid arrangement. Another one actually said, I personally experienced this, that happened, and she was very gracious for that. Ample legal justification for funeral directed act on behalf of the medical examiner in limited capacity. And then one attorney probably charged a little more to that county than I really wanted, but he did give a 2-page interpretation. So then, knowing that MFDA is a club or a group for funeral homes, and Phil Duma is an attorney, I had a conversation with him and then asked him the exact same questions. You can see the communications that started with him on January 16th. That email to him went unanswered. MFDA did not respond to me. February 19th, I asked him again, no response. March 4th, I asked him again, and I actually let him know that I did seek and receive attorney advice from the other counties. I did get a response from him then. He said, in response, can you please forward those to me? So I forwarded those to him. And then I followed up with another response. Can you please let me know MFDA's opinion now that I have given you that legal advice? And I still have not heard back. So that is my communications and lack thereof with MFDA. But so what this all means for the county here is that I got other counties, because I think that was talked about a little bit. Well, what about all the rest of your counties? So all the rest of our counties are good with the legal opinions that they sought out. But of course, Ogemaw County doesn't have to be okay with what the other counties say. You can get your own legal opinion and I will follow whatever you want me to do. Because as you see in our contract, in the RFP that I gave you, whatever you guys want, I will put in place. So it really doesn't matter what all the other counties want to do. If you want to do something different, we have a case-related cost fund separate from the management fee that you pay me. This is my management work that I went out and got for you. So this entire booklet, is it legal? How much does it cost? And so we'll move on from there. But just know, this isn't me trying to tell you guys what to do. This is me giving you the background so that you can make your own decisions on how you want Ogemaw County to be run. So with that, then we had, well, what about all these sanctions that keep coming up? Okay, Laura's sanctioning. Okay, I peeled back the layers. We called these funeral homes and said, hey, we know you've been sanctioned, but don't care about that. But what we want to know is, were any of these due to medical examiner hold issues? And we received, most of them are verbal. I didn't think it was necessary to get all of those in writing, but I did get one. And it's, no, we've not heard of anyone being sanctioned. And as they were also on the list, that is not why they were sanctioned either. So I think I put to rest this. Plus, I did find out from Laura verbally, though, that was not what they were after. They were after capping and steering. I hadn't personally heard that term until I talked to the Laura representative, and that is not applicable here. So I think that with all the sanctions, I found out that it was not due to medical examiner hold. So funeral homes can be sanctioned for numerous reasons, but if it has nothing to do with my line of work, then that's fine. So that's what we have there. Then we went on to the state emergency fund. Can the county pay over and above what a funeral home has charged and gotten paid for from the state? So if anybody knows anything about billing for Medicaid, Medicare, This is how we were advised on this, and we actually had many communications with the Department of Health and Human Services at the state level to say that you cannot bill for the exact same service charge without telling the state that you have received money for that exact same service charge. Okay, so we can't fill in the gap. This is what they say is the most that can get paid for that same service charge. So I called over to Roscommon County because I was told that they were possibly able to find a way to do that. Jody and I talked about how, she was doing that. So if we pick a different service charge to supplement them for, we absolutely can do it. We just can't do it for the same one because I have all of this from the State Emergency Relief Fund that shows exactly what we are allowed to do. We have to disclose to them if money is coming from some other way. So if I sent through the application to the state, I actually have a copy of what the check boxes that we fill out. If we say there's additional money coming from the county, we have to disclose that here. And they will claw back the money. That's their term, not mine. They will claw back the money from the funeral home and say, you've already gotten paid for that, or money ended up coming in later for that, and they will claw that back. So this is actually the communication with MDHHS and the eligibility specialist. So it's my opinion that if you wish to fill in the gap for the funeral homes, that you would pick a different service line so that any money that was the $936 that was paid for this case actually doesn't get clawed back. So we don't want to, we don't want to do things that are going to get reversed. So that is the legal part of things here. And then transport and storage. So now that we know, well, is it legal? Or maybe we don't, and that's okay. Like I said, you guys can still decide what you want. What are the solutions? What are my possible solutions? What can we do here? So with storage, let's start with that. So we reached out to both of the hospital systems and we said, is this available to us to use for storage? We got in writing on their letterhead, and email, which I thought was a very professional of them. And they pretty much said no, and no thank you, and we aren't interested. Okay, so it is still my job to figure out what to do with storage. Couple different options here. I have a neighboring county that the county actually purchased a refrigeration unit for all of the funeral homes in their community. So this was one, and I got you some quotes here in case that's an avenue you want to do. Buy a set for each, then you will have storage there just like the other county did. However, I did not just reach out to the funeral homes inside of the county here, but those that connect. So when I looked at our cremation permit log, our signing cremation permit for, I saw that it wasn't just the two funeral homes inside of this county that are servicing Ogemaw County, but there are many. Okay, so I thought, well, let's find out if there's some others that we can see so that we can kind of share on those 4 cases that we're talking about that might need to get removed. Maybe we don't put all of the burden on only 1 or 2. Maybe we can reach out to the others, depending on if it's in the northeast, northwest, southwest, we can go everywhere. So I asked a bunch of different funeral homes, are you interested? I got a no, I got numerous yeses, I got a if we can. Okay, so I do have options for that. So we can either purchase, that's one of the options. We can utilize, whenever we have those 4 cases, we can utilize the storage of those that are willing participants. And this is the model that we use in all of our other counties. But of course, Ogemaw County can do whatever Ogemaw County wants, and I will put that into play. So I wanted to give you options for what storage was based off of another county buying for their funeral homes based off of all the others. Yeah, go ahead.
So you said that a model for all your other counties, what is the exact model?
The exact model for our other counties is that we call participating funeral homes. And occasionally, out of all of our 18 counties, we do have one that is opted out, another one that said, probably not so much. It just doesn't pay what they need to pay their staff. They're in a little bit higher. Anyways, but for the most part, funeral homes sort of take turns. Sometimes in some counties, we call it Funeral Home of the Month Club. Okay, you get all the odd months, I get all the even months. Those counties like that. Other counties is closest one. Some split it right down the middle. down the freeway. I take the west, you take the east. And that is how it operates in all of our other counties. But we don't have to do that here. But I did get enough funeral homes all around that have said, yeah, call us once in a while. You have approximately 4 a year that are leaving with no next of kin. It doesn't sound like too much of a burden. We can do a couple of lower paying jobs for that. Call us. So I do have a system for that, but if the county wishes to put refrigeration in there, fine. If the county wishes to build a morgue, I can help you do that too. If there, a lot of different things, whatever the county wants, we have storage possibilities. So that's the storage. And then with transport, this is the bill that we get from the transporter that comes up and has taken the decedents down for autopsy, down and back, sometimes in the same day that the death occurred. So that is absolutely fantastic service. Just to make sure that I wasn't just getting one, I did recover an email that I had from, a year ago saying, hey, we're interested. I wasn't able to get the third one, but I figured two would, and, the transportation is taken care of, and I think at a pretty nominal cost. I'm actually going to share that with some of the other counties that are paying a little bit more. So I was thankful for having to do this research. So now getting to the end, because you wanted me to be very efficient, I would like to have resolution and a direction that the board would like me to take on both transportation and storage. So the last chapter in there would be if we could talk through what the board would like me to do for transportation when a decedent needs to leave the scene before we have contacted next of kin. And then the second thing I would like is what you would like to do for storage. And then the pricing of how you would like me to be allowed to pay for the services you would like me to add onto the reimbursements. So, yes,
Fabian,
questions?
do you want to direct us?
Well, first of all, there was a third issue that we wanted you to address. Do you
Okay.
want to take care of that third issue before we get into this discussion?
Tell me what that was. So that
It was going to be our primary. We kind of got thrilled here.
If you,
Mhm.
in a case where there was nobody to claim
Mhm.
the body,
Yes.
or
Oh,
the
yes,
deceased.
yes.
that-
And
What is this? What is this?
so what the solution for that is, what happens to the body, right?
What is the Michigan law? So as far as from a county perspective,
Yes.
what is the law for an unclaimed body? Not what your job is or whose job
Right.
is what.
Right.
What is the law for this unclaimed body?
So the law for the unclaimed body is the public assistance attorney is eventually the person that helps if there is any, it's like your indigent fund task person. So the main role per the statutes for the medical examiner's office is the unattended, unassisted, not the run-of-the-mill deaths. That is our job. It is death scene investigation. What the law also says is we are the catch-all for the person who has to file the unclaimed form. Okay, that is our catch-all. Is it the county's responsibility? So now, as far as funding, no, the state has a fund for that, and that is the SCR, and that's the documentation I have in there for you. So our obligation is that we are the catch-all to help with the final disposition of the unclaimed. And we uphold that. That is, and then the funding comes from, first and foremost, the SCR. State of Michigan has a fund for that. And then secondly, if the person is denied because they own a house, then the public assistance attorney, which I see is vacant in Ogemaw, helps us get involved. And we are the first ones that once that home gets liquidated, gets the money for the decedent. And that is in statute as well. So that is the law per the statutes.
So we've had a lot of discussion since we met.
Okay.
And we had decided, as far as from a board perspective, to kind of take a step back since we had gotten and shared the email from Lara
Mhm.
along with the other gentleman, Phil.
Sure.
And we kind of decided to take a generalized step back, let us continue what's going on until there's a problem that's brought to us.
Okay.
Let basically the funeral homes and you guys figure it out. Because
Yeah.
everything's been working okay up to this point in time. We're getting different interpretations. We were very shocked to get a legal opinion back from our attorney because we did not ask them. We did not want to get involved as far as from a county perspective at this point in time. I know we didn't ask them for that legal opinion, so we were surprised when we did receive one.
Okay. Either way, I didn't ask him. I don't know who your attorney is.
It's there, it's,
It's all the same firm, actually. All the letters you got are all from the same firm.
Hopefully it's somebody you trust.
It's just different attorneys, but you've got all the same firm.
to let you guys work this issue out.
I love it. Yeah, I'm used to that.
That's kind of the stance that we
Right.
to avoid. And I thought that there was a clear understanding of what the discussion was going to be tonight. I appreciate all of this information and also what we see in claims. Again, my question reverts back to, from a county perspective, legality wise, like that one individual that is still unclaimed, that has been cremated.
Mhm.
Now, what is the state law for those remains?
Yes, that's.
What's
So-
the position of?
Absolutely. So the state law is not very clear on what happens after the remains because it's no longer a public health hazard. Okay, so what the state law is that law versus standards of practice. Okay, so there's two different things. So standards of practice, I put out on a national website that this person exists and is in our possession. And we do have annually a couple people that search that national, that is just due diligence of us. So that, first of all, is a standard. Secondly, what happens with the remains? If they are a veteran, they have veteran benefits and services, and they have different places where the veterans go.
Mhm.
Okay, so that's a whole different category, but we make sure that the veterans are taken care of in that manner. Now we have the rest. What we do not do is promptly do a mass burial or anything like that, because we have had people that have come out of the woodwork, find their loved ones on that national website and say, we would like to bring them back home with us and bury them there. If we have already put them in the ground, that makes it much harder. Okay, so we do keep them for a while.
Is there
Okay.
is there a period of time there?
And no, there's not, because what eventually happens is that we go to the counties and we go to and find a site where they can have a mass burial. And that sometimes happens around Memorial Day.
So then
It's
you,
kind of a Memorial Day type event, you know.
so then you retain those.
Absolutely, absolutely, because they are unclaimed. Yes, it is a very sad thing. And I have 37 just from last year alone.
Wow.
Just last year alone, 37,
Spread over, what, 18?
18 counties.
Okay,
Yep. But they're,
all right, so there's no responsibility that the county has to take on that.
no, that's usually, that kind of thing is usually donated. And we're
Okay.
very grateful for once that does happen. We're in the process in May of starting, we you know, we're making one last ditch effort and then we have to make some space.
So then to get back to your question of how we move forward,
Mhm.
is it my understanding that the model that you currently use throughout your 18 counties is working in Ogemaw County, in your opinion?
That is my opinion, but that wasn't the way that I left the last meeting when I came in January. So I went forward with the tasks and then I thought 3 steps ahead so that the board
Sure.
could have resolution and confidence in what I do and why I'm doing it.
And I think where the board bottom out, and correct me, board members, if I was wrong, is if
Mm-hmm.
your model is working and the services that we contracted for are being provided,
Mhm.
then we're happy with continuing that model.
And at this point in time, the funeral homes are continuing the current model as well.
Yeah.
So
So does that answer your question then?
It answers my question. I am
Yep.
a bit bewildered, but yes, absolutely.
well, I read the emails. I mean, I read the emails back and forth as far as what was going to be discussed tonight, and I thought it was pretty clear.
Well, what I do is I review the board, I review your board meetings to make sure that I'm keeping up on everything that you would like. The hospitals were mentioned, so I got all the hospital letters.
Yep.
At our last meeting here, it was, is it legal? Is it legal? Is it legal? I went 3 steps down the line to make sure I covered that. So what I had been doing is paying attention to what you guys wanted.
And that's appreciated.
Yeah, we
But-
Very much appreciate.
You know, this feedback, things still seemed, I mean, you got as clear as answers I believe you could get, but they still it's clear, but it's unclear. So right now it's clear until it becomes unclear again. I mean, you got as much information as you could get, which is what we asked you to do.
Okay,
But
Yeah,
then what?
the bottom line is if the system that you
I think it's working with me,
use,
but do we have a
Is
home
working.
representative? Because that's where this comes.
yeah, within Ogemaw County, there's no desire for us to change your system. We just want to make sure that the services that we contracted for are being performed
Right.
and.
That seemed a little unclear.
The timely.
at Some of the meetings, so I'm
Yeah,
I'm
right.
glad that.
No,
that-
there
okay.
was.
An issue was
Like,
brought to
issue of
us.
time.
Our job is to investigate it.
Yes.
So nobody really had a clear answer, so then we asked you to take it to the next step.
Mhm.
So that's kind of where we had left it, and we talked as a board as far as what our legal liability is, and if you guys are kind of for us to take a step back, and if there becomes an issue, the two of you guys need to work it out.
I
Until it
agree.
becomes a county issue.
I agree. The email that went back and forth to the entire board from the funeral home that included me was something that was out of the ordinary, but I was tasked to appear to it, respond to it, appear
Right.
here, and I did. And that
We
was
appreciate it.
different. And that was different than anything I'm used to because I'm not used to issues going to the entire board in an email and then me being summons to the, it just felt a little like the board wanted to have a very deep set of fingers in it. And so I gave you like everything that I possibly could so you can make the decision and
Right.
tell me what to do. I want you to tell me what you want
Well,
so that I can do it.
And it's good to know that we have options if it becomes an issue.
Yes.
But at this point,
There is still one issue, and I do know that because I am getting a bill for the gap between what the state has paid for that one decedent from the one funeral home and still plans on asking for the gap of payment. So that is still one issue, and that the last page of this, I had asked that the board then consider, and I even consider some of the options. And maybe we decide whether or not you want to pay the gap. We need to decide if you're gonna pay the gap. The state paid $950 and we need to decide if the county is going to pay the remainder of that.
has it been brought to our attention?
no, this is first.
It's in there, though, okay.
Yeah, but I mean, this is the first that we're seeing this.
Sure.
And I understand you're kind of taken back by this, but our previous organization that we were contracted with, like, there wasn't this transparency and there was no issue until there was a huge
And that's
issue.
when
and
I
it
was
done.
looking at why, 18 counties, 30 years later, why do I feel like I am being attacked? And I think it is because the last medical examiner who sat in this chair might have treated you differently. And I understand that.
Yeah.
And I do. And I feel bad for that because I watched the entire saga in the middle of my 30-year reign. And I understand how that happened. And I understand that I then was not a trusted one, and that's fine. And so I wanted to give the board the full transparency, the full
Sure.
knowledge of the 30 years that I know. And even some funeral home stuff that I learned along the way now.
Where are you at with this, Bill?
Where's this?
The bill is in, yes, I just read through it, so. It was under, is it legal, I think? Because it went through how much we are allowed to pay. And if the board decides to. There it is. Yep. It's, so if you go to the orange transport storage and flip one backwards.
It's a 340.
Yes. However, per Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, it is not okay. They will claw back the money if they receive any of the same amounts for those exact same services.
What's that now?
The state of Michigan says, when we fill out the application, and you can flip back one more page backwards and one more page backwards. Yes, that is the bill for the one unclaimed that I believe brought this whole thing to an issue back in January. So that's when the whole email chain started. And this bill right here is what is normally charged for a service minus the $936.52 that the state paid, and then the balance. And I have been asked to send this to the Ogemaw board for the gap payment. It is not legal for me to do that, though, or I can do that. But once the state of Michigan finds out that there has been payment made on that, then they, and I have the documentation of that, will claw back the money.
But that's between the state and the funeral home.
Correct.
Correct? I just need guidance. And
Yeah.
so my, I need to know how to respond because
Who
I,
asked you to do this, the funeral home?
No, the funeral home sent this to the medical, to these guys.
Right. The funeral home sent you the bill.
yeah,
Correct.
and for our contract, it is your bill because it's a case related cost.
And then if we pay this to somebody, the state's gonna try to call off the
Yeah,
money.
That's what they said, and that is documented there, and
Like,
that girl.
I was in the understanding through all this conversation that the funeral home had to eat this cost. They only get paid what the state
Right.
pays. So this is the cost that they're having to eat, which is a loss to them.
Right. They had one, the other funeral home had two.
But
Now,
the way you're describing it, they're not gonna get any more than $936.52.
Correct.
Yeah,
for the exact same service lines.
right.
So what I would like to see the board consider, and I listed it under options, and I listed it on the last page of options, is to the service lines that are not reflected payable from the state of Michigan for an unclaimed could start when it is a medical examiner hold. And so it is my opinion that we should reimburse the funeral homes when they are under a medical examiner hold. Because that is not part of the unclaimed. They are officially not unclaimed yet until our office goes right now, this minute. And so this is something, and so I actually have a suggested motion, and of course, the board can put any numbers in there that they want, throw the motion out, part of the motion, nothing at all. This is just me trying to be timely. And this is something taken from my conversations with the area funeral homes on how they feel this would help. So for example, you are exactly right. We do not have cold storage in this county. Our funeral homes do not. I've listened to your past meetings and you are exactly right. We do not. So what do we do with that? And we did have a very bad decomp in this county. And that's not fun. And that is something that we need to take care of. So what do? We have the ability to use somebody else's in another adjacent county. So it's not too far, but they have to turn the lights on. They have to turn the electricity on. And so even though it eventually becomes unclaimed, they have had this under a medical examiner hold for a couple of days. And I think that that is right. I think that's the right thing to do. And so I had listed here the proposed pricing sheet that we would add these. And then if the local funeral homes decide they want to not participate, and we have mixed opinions on whether or not they will or not, and that's fine, but not participate, other ones will. But then we might have our medical examiner investigators on scene just a little bit longer while they wait for a little bit further funeral home to come. And we think that it's fair to reimburse them, at the rate that I listed there. And that would be for then additional days. Sometimes we can't find everybody on the minute that we want to, and it takes us a couple of days. A lot of times they actually won't call us back. And, we have to allow time. Death is hard for people, and sometimes they need time to process, and, so we want to give them that. But again, the funeral home is then holding somebody for us, and we think that it's fair while they are under official medical examiner hold to give a little. So as you can see in our budget, you have some wiggle room from your last medical examiner system to this one, possibly. I'm not saying there's ever any wiggle room with funds, but we think that it is, we partner with our funeral homes and we really do team up and work well with them. And we do feel that this is the right thing to do for them.
Treat them fairly.
I think so. And then I also listed in that there could be, and just, so that there's clarity. There could be up to an average of one a year where something goes awry, right? So maybe the person has a house, we have to wait. Can you imagine how long it takes to liquidate a house? And the county of Ogemaw doesn't have a public assistance attorney on staff anyway. So then, because I've been doing this long enough, we know who we can call at the state level, but still it takes a minute. Maybe we then come to the board and say, special circumstances, can we? Okay. And so that is when I'd like to be able to say, just know, while we do very well with our budget in a lot of regards, we have to take care of our funeral homes. So special circumstances, I'd like just for there to be full, I'm sure I can always ask for a special circumstance, but I want you to, consider when those come through that this is one of those times. Okay, we're working through one with a funeral home right now that it's difficult and we've already appealed it. And and I'm not going to get into it here because, that's not. But it is difficult and we do what we can and we spend hours on this but that one might be coming to the board. And so I would just, if anybody sees that statement and feels that that is good for us to help support our funeral homes in that regard, that is my professional presentation for you and the resolution that I would like to hopefully assist our funeral homes with.
Commissioner Serbrook.
Well, I think, I think it's more than fair that we should compensate them for, holding on to that on the medical examiner hold. I think that's fair,
I think.
So.
Commissioner
As
Mayhew.
far as a dollar amount, I don't know what the dollar amount should be, but I think they should be
Well,
compensated.
because I have a lot of jurisdictions, I created this with, I did the sample of. what-
Right, I see the.
So you're not paying above and beyond.
I see the cold, but I don't see the non-cold. I don't see a figure, medical examiner hold without cold. storage.
Right, well,
So it's blank, so.
yeah, the per day, so down at the bottom would be all that we would need there, is the entire, and that is with, if you wanted to add additional up there, but then you would, of course, have to talk it through down at the bottom as well.
Okay.
So down, the requested motion is everything that I have done a sampling of the jurisdictions around here and is true and customary for the region.
Commissioner Mayhew.
If we have one of these that's unclaimed
Mhm.
and our guy won't pick it up, you're gonna come get it, you're gonna take it somewhere.
Yep,
And they're gonna get paid to cremate them and all this and we're gonna pay this on top.
and the 950, so at the bottom, that suggested board requested motion says that if we have that one-off circumstance, like we're talking through right now, then it would be the $950, but that does not happen very often, maybe once per
I
year. Okay?
understand.
But yes, when they do a cold storage hold, we do ask that we would be able to $175 for the first day and $75 a day after that. And so we think that that is fair. We've tried to search through and look through, the next of kin is probably, and I have a dedicated staff member that she's an unclaimed expert.
How long do they do that before they didn't?
It could be about a week, but we also can't do it too fast. Too fast is bad. Yeah, it's approximately
A week, where
Mhm.
it's gonna tally up.
That's the cold storage. And again, we're talking about the 3 official cases that we had last year, at approximately, if you count the weekends, a week. So still, in the amount that we're doing pretty good, of the budget. So I think that, treating our funeral homes in this regard isn't gonna break the bank, but.
Commissioner Scott.
Well, that's a lot of stuff here. Was Thurl McLaren invited to come to this meeting?
I didn't reach out to him this week. So I didn't remind him. He was aware, I believe, of the date that Lisa was coming. So, but I have
Okay.
not talked to.
Have you talked? Have you talked
Yeah.
with Thurl McLaren?
Yes, I have.
No. Do they understand that they can haul these unclaimed people or not? Because he was in this quagmire with this Laura stuff.
Yes, and Phil Duma is the president of his group. And
Okay.
he believes the president of his group that I have not seen the communications that have said so. As you saw, the 5 communications, I reached out to that gentleman, the
Yeah,
president, and only got one back when he wanted to know what the attorneys had said. So I can't speak to what if,
so we don't know if the local funeral home is gonna haul them or not.
They have been. Right now, there is no
Yeah.
problem with that. They've agreed.
the majority have said yes, so we have ample coverage. The majority have said yes.
Yeah, that's between the funeral home and.
Yes, yes.
Medical examiner.
Correct.
That we will do, but if we need to make sure 100% are okay, then that's a whole different story. But I have coverage for transport.
Okay.
I probably don't have 100% of everybody saying yes, but I have coverage.
Yeah, you have a contract for a service, they're telling you they can provide the service.
Okay, so
And how they provide the service is up to them.
Absolutely.
do we know why the state of Michigan didn't cover this whole bill? So
Yeah.
what parts of that bill wouldn't they cover?
It's kind of like seeing a Medicaid, let's say Medicaid or Medicare patient. We may bill them $350, let's say for an office call. Medicare only pays $150. We get $150, you gotta eat the rest of,
I do have the fee schedule.
It's just like.
make sense?
I'm sorry.
When you
Yeah.
look at your explanation of
look at-
benefits,
I
it breaks it
get it.
down. That's exactly what you're
Yeah.
looking at.
Yeah,
So this is a funeral home's cost for doing what.
yeah, I was just wondering what part of the funeral home charges
Here's
the
the,
state of Michigan
here's
doesn't
what
like.
they sent along with the check that they sent to the funeral home.
Okay,
Commissioner Wiltie.
I mean, I don't really see why we even got to this point. I mean, you see the orders from the attorneys and it seemed like there's any problems. I don't understand why they just don't take care of it. So,
So we'll go back to that unclaimed body. I had somebody reach out to me actually this past week. It was a friend of this unclaimed body.
Okay.
No family member, no bloodline connection. This is a close friend that was actually there when this individual deceased.
Okay.
Wanted to know, it's been this period of time that
Mhm.
there's been no family members contacted, wanting to know if they can have that individual's remains. Who do I have them contact?
They can contact us, but if you're not a next of kin, the state is very clear on that. And that gets difficult sometimes because people sometimes go decades and never actually get married, and unfortunately. But a judge can tell me to release and I would be more than happy to. That is where my legal stands. I know because we go through this. We have 37 a year. There are definitely people who come through. Now, but they can contact our office is the short answer, just so that I don't take up too much time here.
Okay, so that's how we had the funeral home come to us with a problem. We talked about it. This is where we're at. We've decided to take a step back. I appreciate all this information. If there's any more problems moving forward, we'll be in contact.
Would the board consider the motion?
Yeah, the question.
Well, not- I want to look at all this information. We were just given a whole bunch of information. I would like to look it over.
Okay, so then at some point you'll tell me whether or not you want it on an agenda for consideration.
We can put it back on the committee of the whole if you want to in 2 weeks or so, but I want to
Yeah.
look all it over. I
I
mean,
think
that's a
that's
lot of money there and
The amount of money that this represents is spelled out here.
I know, I want to look at it.
We
I
have,
mean, it's the maybe 4 cases.
Yeah.
Is all, and it's $175. So it's not,
the issue, Lisa, is we're just seeing this information for the
absolutely,
first time
We
tonight.
can do any resolutions in this. This is roundtable discussion.
This-
that's okay. That's fine. I just want to make sure that we're supporting our funeral homes because I feel like they're not being supported. And I did the jurisdictional assessment and it's still, and then I gave you a copy of the budget, so you can see that that's within the budget. And I'm hoping that we can do what's right by the funeral homes to put our best foot forward, because I will have funeral homes that will say yes, but they might only say yes once or twice more if they feel like they're not supported. So I just want to make sure that we have a good system that's
Perfect.
going to feel supportive. So. okay.
Thank you.
You
Thank you
meet
very
back here in 2 weeks?
We don't, what,
All right, sounds great.
Davian's pretty good at reaching out, so
Yeah.
Okay,
If need be,
so much.
I'll reach out and let you know.
that'd be great. All right.
thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you a lot.
Thank you.
Item B, friend of the court remodel request. Judge,
to make this simpler.
Slightly less depressing. Just slightly the course. About 3 years ago or so, the departments were asked to submit requests for capital improvements. Obviously, the financial condition of the county, we kind of understood that it's on the list, but it wasn't going very far at that time. I just here to ask you basically to put it back on the top of the list, so to speak. We have, I don't know how many of you actually seen the front of the courtroom, but it's tiny. And we don't have room for the public to come in. Technically, it's an open courtroom where the public can come in. We've been able to so far explain to people that there's no room, and they've accepted that. One of these times, that's not going to be the case. But basically, I talked to Jack Morris Construction. They kind of gave a ballpark, so I can include with you guys look at. My understanding is this kind of the worst case scenario. Honestly, the only thing we're talking about would be removing the block wall. But obviously there's more involved in that with fix the ceiling, fix the flooring, and make a bench for the referee. I've included a diagram of as is and proposed. So like I said, I'm just asking that it put back on the list for capital improvements and move it towards the top. don't have a lot more to say on it. Hopefully, again, that this estimate is high. Obviously, we'd have to put it out for bids, but knowing that Jack Morris is always the one that always submits the bids, I wanted to get a ballpark from him, so. And he did look at it, he got up in the ceiling, looked at the tiles, the brick, the block wall does not go all the way to the roof, so that's good. But it goes farther than the ceiling lines, so there's stuff that's gotta be moved and adjusted up there, so. But that's what I'm asking, like I say, it's capital improvement request. I know you guys got a lot of them going on right now with the bathrooms, the closets, the windows that just got done. Again, I'd like to see that move to the top. Again, I invite you to go down and take a look at it when you're in the building one of these days. You can either come up to me or to the front of the court office, they'll let you in. And we'll see what it's actually I'm talking about. So that's basically what I'm here for, to,
I appreciate this.
so.
I appreciate.
There's no room, I mean, other than the parties, their attorneys and the staff. And one bailiff, that's basically it's, you know, it's a lot smaller than things, but. Like I say, I would encourage you to go take a look, so you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about, so.
Comments, Commissioner Scott?
The storage,
Right now,
storage as is, are you filled right up?
the
Capacity?
storage is. Combination of. Old furniture that's not being used, old computers that aren't being used. There's some totes of stuff back there, and I actually think Department of Corrections is kind of confiscated a little bit of that. So
Well,
we would,
I'm looking at the before and after,
mhm.
and I know this isn't right to
No, it's not 100% to scale, but
the scale, but my gosh, that you're trying to cram
well,
the ark into a rowboat.
well, and I, like I say, it's full,
Of obsolete,
but probably could be emptied as far as, like I say, the furniture's like, I think there's those old wall dividers, there's a few of them in there.
Okay.
Chairs.
a lot of these stuff
Old
doesn't have
stuff. I
anything to do with you.
Can't picture 100% of it, but it's,
It isn't your junk.
some of it's not our junk.
Be utilized better.
But part of my thing is perhaps turning, there's a little nook that we could turn into a storage to, so we don't lose all storage, but again, that's just a draft, obviously, if it gets to go ahead, get some bids and maybe get a little more accurate number. But I kind of, like I said, it's kind of represented to me, this is probably the worst case scenario, but depending on what you have to do, or moving electric outlets and something like that that are in that concrete wall, so.
Fabian, did you put this out to the department heads for ideas? I know you had talked about it.
Yeah, we-
It did go out?
We sent out last Friday, after the board approval
Yep.
of it, a request to all departments for capital improvement.
Yeah, this one,
Plans.
3 years ago, I think Tim did it.
That was actually 5 years ago.
Okay, well, there you go, so.
Yeah.
And again, we haven't, there's other stuff with
Right,
higher priority, we understood that, but the way people are today, it's, they're denying them their right to be in the courtroom. So thus far, we've been able to diffuse it, and with COVID actually helped us, because that allowed us the alternative of doing Zoom during that time. But that's went away kind of, so. But
We have started the process for countywide.
What's the deadline on it? Did you give the department heads like 30 days or?
Yeah, it was, I think it's April 8th, maybe.
Okay,
So this double line wall that's in the, as is the concrete wall that has to come out.
yeah, it's just like this one here.
Yeah.
What I would anticipate was once we get all the requests that the boards
Yep.
in a committee as a whole meeting like this and does a priority of what projects you want to do within
Yep.
that, looking at a 5-year time period and requesting the departments to kind of put their projects in a time frame of what they thought it was. But the final decision would be the county boards on how to do that, and then we'd have to look at ways of how to fund it.
You understand?
remember that?
You understand, we're gonna get complaints about the noise of tearing down that wall from.
Well, I know, and there's gonna be, I'm gonna have to find a place for them to do court while they're doing this.
Well, yeah, but I mean, other departments are gonna complain about this.
Well,
Noise.
front of the court is by themselves down there, so.
I'm getting stressed out with
Will be
that.
minimal, but.
Appreciate this. Appreciate being
Thank you.
active. Thank you.
Yes, Judge Williams, this is good.
I'm next to, I think.
You are.
Front of the court window.
In front of the
Oh,
court.
you want more?
Well, back when
Yes.
we did the window project, it was discussed between Tim and Jack Morris
Yep.
that the
Oh, that's.
ground floor windows in front of the court would need some kind of vision blocking film or application, as the state's pretty strict on what you can see from the outside on those computer screens and files. We all thought, I guess, when I say we all, Michael and myself thought it was all included. We kept talking about it, and then we put the windows in and kind of said, oh, we forgot to put the film on. Well, it turns out, I don't think the film was ever included in that original invoice. And
Well, it
so,
was not in
so they
the,
didn't do anything wrong, it's just,
Okay.
the film never got put on, because it wasn't actually in the.
right, I looked at the original RFP and it wasn't in there, and then I actually emailed Tim to confirm that I was looking at the final document, and he confirmed that it was not part of the original bid.
Even though, like I say, we thought it was and requested it to be, but for whatever reason, it didn't happen, so. So the Jack Morris gave us a bid for 3360, I think.
Yep.
That's
Yes.
in book, that'll
3360.
take all those offices that are on the ground floor, put that coating on so people can't see in, but there's still sunlight and stuff like that. So that's, I'd ask that you guys approve that, at your next meeting. Or we can try to get other bids too. I don't know what companies do this kind of thing, but I don't know how much that kind of stuff costs, quite frankly, so.
I've got Valley Glass, which is their subcontractor now for all the glass work in the building, so.
So
Commissioner Wiltie?
So I guess I don't know how many linear feet that is, but could we also just put up blinds?
oh, that would be an alternative if you want to not have any light through there, but I mean,
We'd open the blinds.
no, you can't. I mean, that's the problem. You can't because
It's personal information.
Block it.
I don't, if you recall that, you have these people going around filming through your windows and
Got
stuff.
lights.
Sorry.
I was just thinking if, I mean, why you need that information closed, you close the blinds.
It's.
Because it gotta be closed all the time.
It's always
Complete.
computers there.
Somebody walking by the windows.
People's social security numbers, people's
Gotcha.
Personal information.
information.
All,
If you bought window blinds, they're probably more expensive than tinning.
all the time. Gotcha.
But,
Yeah, this is a necessity. You have to do this. You have to maintain confidentiality.
Anybody that deals with glass can do this.
I would think, but I don't know.
I would think that Jack Morris is probably just subbing this out.
That's what it is. If you look at it, it says Valley Glass,
Yeah. So
which is who they're subcontracted for the glass in
Just
this building.
do it ourselves and say
go straight to the,
straight to them.
So they're, yeah, I don't know, that's just, I didn't get this.
let's look at the options and then, I don't mind doing it, but.
We don't need a general contractor to put this in windows.
I don't necessarily.
Look at our
disagree with
options.
this, So
Yeah, I would think a
don't
glass
know.
guy.
I don't know what the film costs versus the labor to do it. I don't know that, so.
Yes.
But we can, however you want me to go, I'll see what I can do or have Michael do it. If there's other.
Is this Valley Glass in town? I don't know whose Valley Glass is.
No, it's not local. If you remember the email chain that we got from Issuel's front door, there was another company that they had subcontracted with for the glass work, and then those things just fell apart there, so Jack Morris cut ties with the previous subcontractor, now they subcontract the Valley Glass for them. That's who's gonna be doing the front.
Wait, who's Valley Glass? Where are they out of?
I'm not sure where they're from.
Oh, you base it.
I don't know.
Can we ask Chris to get a couple estimates for us?
You can, yeah.
I think.
Simple work.
How many windows is there?
For 5 different offices. I think one of them has like double windows in it though, so maybe 6.
So is this is 15, what, I guess I don't know how to read, 3mm evening view, 15 reflective window film, is that,
I don't know.
does it mean
if that's the-
15 windows or?
I don't think there's 15 windows there, but I haven't physically counted them,
Okay.
frankly, so.
We'll find out more, but that definitely needs
Do
to
when
be done.
I go outside, so. While I'm here, can I talk about something else that's not on the list real quick?
Go ahead.
Monday, when the building was closed, um, these things don't work. After a couple hours, a battery backup dies, and nobody had a physical key to actually get in the building, so we couldn't have our people. We're gonna use their cell phones to call these people saying they don't have court today, but nobody could get in the building. So I was wondering if you guys could figure out some kind of plan to either get some physical keys to some people, whether it's department heads or whether it's, even if you have one at dispatch, they can go check out or something.
Right.
Something, because nobody could get in. We called Tom Spencer and he actually was able to get us in. But that was after hours of figuring out we can't get in because I guess this battery is only good for about 2 hours or 2 or 3 hours after the power goes out.
Oh,
And so I stood there all morning doing it and it wasn't getting me anywhere. So that's what I wanted to bring up.
Thanks, we'll definitely address that.
That's that.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Item D, draft at-will employee personnel manual. We are on draft 9.
8.
Are you sure?
Yep.
Okay, so 8. We've taken a different approach. I found this process actually pretty enjoyable, honestly. We've had roundtable, I think 3 different times with the actual at-will employees where they were all invited to come. Very, very good conversation. They've had input on every single page of this. And this will help with our next county administrator / controller as well. What we found is 2 people reading the same sentence can interpret it differently. So we tried very diligently to make this manual very black and white. Tracy's had a lot of input on this as well, since she interprets this. The biggest controversy, discussion, I should say, has been the time off. So we tried eliminating, because there's a lot of confusion between PTO, sick time, and vacation time. Them are the 3 personal time. To me, all of that gets very, very confusing. If somebody's sick, they got the day off. I don't care if they're sick, they got the day off. So we tried to simplify things, while also following some of the contracts that they've followed throughout this process. And now we've brought it to the board to come up with a final decision. So what we came up with, it's on there, it's page 8. It's the 8th draft, yes, page 8, time off. Basically, it's giving them some incentive for longevity. Our at-will employees, most of them have been here for quite some period of time. They're valuable employees. Hopefully we keep them. That's our whole goal. So as far as the paid time off, I think what's the contract we reflected mirrored here? Is it Steel? I don't know. Which contract? Okay.
Which are both the same now.
Yeah, they're-
The last contract.
they mirror each other as far as time.
You see that scale on there? So this is the scale. As far as the scale, the longevity. This was our hottest topic out of all of it. Have you guys had an opportunity to look at it at all? Fabian, do you want?
Read through it. I have not really had much
I
time.
haven't either. I haven't even.
So this is consistent with the amount of time that the most senior employees have between vacation, sick, and personal, right? But right now, the maximum would be 40 days, and this reflects the 40 days. The 2 at the 13 years plus.
The other issue brought up this week was the amount of time, if somebody resigns, the amount of, notice as far as payout, excuse me, not buyout, payout, how many days they have to require.
Language,
Yes, I think Tracy brought that up to our attention.
21 days advance written notice.
It was kind of interesting because some of the at-will employees hadn't even seen this manual. So this was new language to them, even though they were following it. Tracy, do you want to add, I don't know if you want to come up, I don't know if you want to add anything to this?
Yeah, last time this was revised was January of 2000. So 26 years ago.
We had a lot of good input from the employees. Judge Williams sat in
Yep.
on them.
The bailiffs.
Prosecutor was here because he falls under it. Several others,
Undersheriff.
but we had a lot of undersheriff, we had a lot of good participation. Some lengthy meetings, some of them were in excess of 2 hours.
Equalization director
Yep.
was there, Tom was there,
Spencer was there, so I mean,
bailiffs were there.
Mike LaFave.
Yes. And everybody seems very happy with this.
Yep.
That was our biggest thing we wanted to bring to the board as far as was this time off. And trying to eliminate the confusion and just changing it to straight up PTO. So do you guys want to take some time and look at this? It's on.
We're not voting on anyway, right?
No, I think tonight was our discussion as far as this time off scale was the primary concern.
Yeah, I'll need to know when you want to come in for a vote.
I would like it taken care of before Fabian leaves, because he's had a lot of input on this. And brought his previous experience to the table on this.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So you and Commissioner Sherbrooke feel that after all the conversations, it sounds like some really good key players all at the table. You guys feel that this is where we should?
I do, and it's fair, I mean, we're keeping them, they're not gonna lose any time and they're not gaining any from what the previous system that they owned. The previous system they were under was vacation, sick and personal. Now we're just rolling all that time into PTO. So there's no restriction, no, well, I need a sick slip or this or that.
It's all one.
And the other thing to remember too is with these cases, these individuals, when they're off, they're not getting filled with overtime. They're not backfilling these positions with overtime. Okay, it's not like a road deputy, if he's off to backfills. These individuals, there's no backfill, so it's not costing us overtime when they're off.
Gotcha.
There has to be some incentive here, because say one of these individuals leave. Their replacement starts at the same pay that they left with. So there's
For some of them, not all.
For some.
majority of them.
Yeah, majority of, yes.
Yes. So, I mean, this is the incentive for them to stay. Correct?
It's the time off accrual.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, we've spent a lot of, hopefully there's one more meeting after this and we'll be good to go. And this will also, again, help with our next county administrator, controller coming into play, because they will follow this as well.
I've got a week to read this over again. I'll be fine for next week.
I think, were we gonna regroup again with,
No, we sent it out and asked the employees if they had any comments.
That's where we got feedback from Tracy on the.
Yeah, we got the comments back and we made the corrections necessary, and I've heard from other people, they're happy with what we ended up with.
we were very cautious with our verbiage that we changed to some, to all, and
Yeah.
I don't remember all the changes, but
We tried to get as
I don't know if you've heard
specific
anything
and as
different
clear as we could.
from what from what I've heard, the feedback I've heard from people when I sent out the email with the changes was that we finally got it to where it's fair to everybody.
Good.
okay, so take a look at that, guys, and
At this point, put it on the agenda for next.
I'm comfortable with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we spent a lot of time on this. Law library carpet coat.
Okay, I believe it was the last meeting, we discussed the carpet at the law library is in pretty bad shape. He asked me to get a quote for it. And I had Chris work on getting a quote. He got us a quote, came back at $5,457.14, which is above your $5,000 limit. So the question for tonight is, are you comfortable going forward with this, or do you want me to do a RFQ and get additional quotes?
Commissioner Serbrook.
I will say this, that the time that Fabian would probably put into drafting an RFP would be more than that $457.14. I'm comfortable with it. Morris Clark's done all the carpeting in the building. That's my opinion.
Commissioner Mayhew.
I know what he's saying, but I don't think we can change. If it is, it is.
Yeah.
Right's right. I mean, the next.
Oh, I'm
not, I understand,
yeah,
but you know what I'm saying,
of
it's
course I do.
the next
The
time.
policy is the
The
policy.
policy is the policy.
Yes.
Yep.
That's where I was gonna go with that. I agree with this and I hope, because I want to stay local, but I think we have to continue with our process.
Sure.
Commissioner Scott?
Well, I gotta say, since Morris Clark did the last carpet job within this building, we've gotten 2 new carpet places in the county locally since then.
Mm-hmm.
So I think because of that, I think you gotta give them a shot.
Sure.
Commissioner, Wiltie?
Yeah, I think we need to be consistent and we need to follow policy, and I think we're gonna be happy when we see some more quotes. I think we'll save some significant money off of this.
I hope that Chris let them know that this may bid, but
Yeah, no, I'll share that information with
it
you.
says price quota.
Yep.
Okay, propane coats.
Thank you.
Want to take it or you want me to?
You can do it.
All right, based on the board's direction, we sent out requests for quotes on propane services with guaranteed prices for the next 2 years with a 3rd year option. And we got 4 bids on it. The low bid came from Fick and Son and for $1.01 per gallon for the 2 years with the 3rd year option, which I believe are very good quotes.
Comments, Commissioner Wiltie?
Well, I mean, I sell propane. I've seen these numbers. This is great. I want to thank Commissioner Serbrook. I mean, there's no reason. It's not like need to be out, having this company and that company and this company. I mean, we should have this all bundled together. I know Commissioner Serbrook comment, we're gonna also look into some other things. But for $1.01 a gallon, I know alone at the transit, I mean, we're gonna save thousands of dollars a year. So this is fantastic. And it's a company that's very legitimate. They do a great job. So this is great.
And they're local,
And local.
correct? Are you?
No, I'm supervisor for Edwards Township.
Oh, gosh, I knew that, huh?
Well, yeah, you should from MTA.
I'm sorry.
I'm the one who gave Mark the information from Webster Governor. He was after us for 4 years and they gave us a great deal.
I heard you two talking about it, so I made an
That's-
assumption.
This is what started the whole ball rolling, was Edwards Township getting us. Unfortunately, Webster Garner
Gave you somewhere to go. Yes.
didn't get they didn't bid the lowest, but this is what started the whole thing was in a conversation at Edwards Township while I was there, so.
What is this gonna save us? Do we?
Well,
know?
I will tell you this.
I wanna know.
Okay. And I'm gonna round it up because previously everything was like $1.99, so I'm just gonna say $2, okay?
Yep.
Airport was paying $2 to $2.10 a gallon. Now it's down to 101, so it's cutting their bill almost in half. At the transit, they were at $1.79, so they're gonna be saving 79 cents a gallon for what they use. And at the caretaker's house at the game refuge, we were being charged $1.99.9. So now we're gonna be saving 98 cents a gallon from that cost. So again, almost half. We're gonna be saving just about half. So overall, depending upon propane, how the winters go and how much propane they use, but it's gonna be several $1,000s per year that we're gonna be saving, so.
Commissioner Scott, did you have a
Yep.
comment?
All these price quotes are on the website.
Excuse me.
Are all these price quotes on the website so the public can see them?
They're in the packet, so.
In the packet, and the packet's on the website.
Yes.
Okay, if not, I wanted us to say them out loud so the public can hear it, but if it's in the packet, it's in the packet. That's good enough with that.
And Vic's quote also was very clear, no fuel surcharges. Some of them had fuel surcharges, some of them had add-on extras like $8.99 for
Hazmat.
the hazmat things. None of that in this quote. Straight $1.01 per gallon.
Commissioner Mayhew, anything? Okay, thank you, Commissioner Serbrook. Request to use parking lot.
Okay, there's a letter in your packet from Sterling Excavation. They're doing a water mains and water service replacement for the city. They are requesting to use the 8th Street parking lot as a place for their employees to park and to do some temporary storage. And the period is approximately April 15th through August 15th.
Comments, questions? Commissioner Scott?
This is the same parking lot that the veterans is planning. Is there any conflict?
No.
Okay, no, I don't have a problem with it.
Somebody comment on it?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
So this afternoon, we had a veterans meeting, and Commissioner Serbrook and I had spoken that we were gonna be talking about this tonight, and I know from past experience, I was project management for a lot of years after college. And when we were going to sites in town and out of town to store equipment, you know, we would go to the landowner or the business owner, tell them what we wanted, offer them a price to rent it for a certain amount of time. If they agreed, we'd write up a contract and then we'd pay them for that amount of time. So for us, obviously, you know, it's worth something. But we were talking today that if we could talk with them, I mean, obviously, it's either a set amount of money or possibly that they could do some excavation work for us, which we need to have done anyways when we go to, you know, start the project for the Veterans Memorial Park. So there's obviously something that we need to get out of
They
this.
could give us some in-kind compensation.
Well, I agree with that.
Towards the park.
Well, up toward the park or there's that fenced area we got behind the sheriff's department. You could probably use a little dirt work in there too, maybe. I don't know for sure, but maybe just some stone or something we can park on. But I don't know. I don't know if the given rent would be. What do you think?
I mean, it's been a
You
while
say
since I've done this.
$1,000 or
Oh, no.
$5,000,
Well, more than that.
$10,000 or.
Holy cow.
I just know the city's gonna do the south side of town with the sewer and the stuff, just like they did down on the north side last year, so. And Sterling's doing that, so I know they'd like to have they'd like to have some room, so.
Comment, one more comment.
Go ahead.
I would suggest that we have Fabian talk with their, you know, project manager, estimator, whoever he needs to from the company and say that, yeah, we're willing to, but you know, we feel that there's come with the cost and, you know, what type of options do we have here? Because they know it's gonna come with the cost. I mean, that's just part of the game.
Commissioner Serbrook?
I agree.
How soon do you think,
See what we can get from them.
how soon do you think you'll start excavation on the
City?
veterans thing?
This is Sterling that's doing the work for the city,
Be most likely.
for
spring of-
for the city of West Greenwich.
Okay.
Yeah, see, I obviously I don't know how this works, but I'm not in favor of charging them. Instead, what I would like to do is maybe ask them for a donation for the Veterans Park. And see, these are all, I shouldn't say all, but the company itself is, citizens that live in this county. They're doing it for the city of West Branch. My guess is they probably would make a pretty good donation. for using that parking lot since it towards the Veterans Memorial. That's the approach that I would like to take, but
Just one more comment.
go ahead.
I'd imagine since this job is awarded to them already, that when they bid the project, they have a line item for their estimate and they have a set amount, whatever they put down for these type of spaces to store their equipment. They're already got that money built into the job that they're gonna get paid for.
Right, they're also, I'm gonna make a generalized statement here, they're probably also taxpayers in this county that pay taxes.
Well, I believe that before it's all said and done, we're gonna ask the city for a favor.
It's not the city, it's Sterling Excavating.
But I know, but the city's getting the deal in. If we need to oil something or use something they got, it'll help them around.
Yeah, I'd be in favor for the veterans, but that's me.
I wouldn't ask them for rent, but that's just me.
I'm in favor of letting the use of the spot. I don't know what we're gonna come up with other than that.
So what's the direction, I guess?
I would suggest that we have Fabian talk with the project manager.
Just tell them the idea that what's gonna happen there and maybe he's not aware of what we're.
I think they are, if you read the letter,
Oh. Thought I did.
Future work, it says.
Yeah,
if you look at yes, this additionally has been brought to our attention, the parking lot may be removed or replaced as part of a future project, so.
yeah,
I think
yeah, I
we're-
read that as we're gonna damage your parking lot, but it really doesn't matter because you're gonna tear it up anyway.
So I'm in favor of asking them for a donation for it.
I'm definitely, if we can get something,
That's what that
I'm-
paragraph says.
yeah, I'm in favor of them allowing to use it, and if we can get, if they're willing to make a donation towards the park, or, some in-kind contribution,
Correct.
if they're running a water line, we're gonna need a water tap there, so maybe they can just put an additional tap in or something.
Well,
But,
you guys think you might be using some of that parking lot the existing parking lot?
For the park?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
Oh, some of it's staying.
Not until.
some of it's staying, but a lot of it's gonna go away.
well, just have them take it away take that part away when they leave.
And that's something that we discussed today as well, if, I don't know what if they can tear up that asphalt and get rid of it, that'd be fantastic.
I would ask them
'Cause it's gonna
that.
be a cost it's something we're gonna have to do
Are you
anyway.
able to help us out? If we let you use this, like, what are you willing to do for us?
Okay.
For the Veterans Memorial, like.
Okay.
I mean,
Well, of course, you
Yeah.
brought up a good point for that water tap. That's a significant cost already on our budget line for the park, so they're right there, that's what they do, I'd be, maybe.
Yeah, when they're
Some outlet.
when they're putting that line in, if they could just put a tap in there for us, that'd be fantastic. So, and Fabian was at the Veterans Committee meeting today, so he's familiar with a lot of our discussions, I think, so. You got it, yeah.
That might be the favor we're gonna have to ask the city for a tap. That might be,
Exactly.
yeah. Because whenever you tap in, there's a charge.
my guess with this company, the individuals that I know that work for this company, they will definitely help out when it comes to the veterans. Yes. You'll have conversation? You guys are meeting once a month?
Yes.
Yes.
Clarification on bailiff compensation. Fabian,
Okay, back in June, board approved security plan with compensation related to the bailiffs. At that time, your county administrator gave insight to the payroll department and to the department on how the compensation would be paid. And so the question that has come up that I would like clarification from is when you look at your department structure, it indicates that you're going to have 3 different shifts. One from 8 a.m. to 12:30, one from 12:30 to 5, one from 5 to 9:30. And it also it says that there's a guarantee of 4.5 hours pay. So, and then if they actually work more than 4.5 hours, hourly rates apply above that 4.5 hours. So the question is that 4.5 hours paid a daily minimum or is it a shift minimum? We've been operating under the interpretation that it is a shift guarantee. And so someone theoretically could receive 3 different shift guarantees of 4.5 hours if they worked in each one of these shifts. Now that has been questioned, and I'm just looking for clarification from the board that when you approve this department structure, what your intent was.
Commissioner Searle,
Daily.
Commissioner Mayhew,
This daily. It's just the one guy. I mean, the night shift, they don't work an hour. You know what I mean? The guy will be here till we leave.
Correct.
He's late. He don't work an hour. So
He's
what
gonna,
do they
if
get?
that's the only shift he works, he's gonna get a minimum of 4.5 hours. He's gonna get paid 4.5.
Right.
If somebody works more than 4.5 in a day, they will get the hourly rate. They work 6 hours, they're gonna get 6 hours of pay. If they work 3 hours, they're gonna get 4.5 hours of pay, guaranteed.
But where are we getting the ones that are getting an hour in the morning, an hour at noon, and an hour in the evening?
that's that shift.
Right, but I mean,
He's asking, Fabian's asking, so we passed this resolution back January.
yep.
There needs to be more clarification.
If somebody gets called in to do court work, after an hour, the court is done, they
Absolutely.
said, go home.
We have no control.
Okay. And then the same person is scheduled for the afternoon
In a different court.
in a different court, comes in and puts in an hour and a half. Does he get paid 4.5 hours? Or does he get paid 9 hours? That's the question.
If he's driving, if he's leaving and going home, coming back, he's gonna get 4.5 hours per shift.
Okay, that's the clarification I'm looking for.
That's what it was. It was driving time. If the guy couldn't drive here for an hour and go home, you can't afford it. And that's what we were doing, I believe.
Okay, I'm just asking for what the board.
Right, I was trying to
Yeah, no,
make
no,
sure.
Commissioner Scott,
you answered my question from your standpoint, yeah.
Well, I think that was the intention in the beginning that because the judges came and told us so sometimes court only lasts an hour, 2 hours. And in one shift. And we thought that we would combat this with, well, then you get a 4.5 hour pay, but then after application, no, it's not exactly what we thought that it was what it was. You know, it's like courts going from 10 to 11:30, and then the judge takes a lunch break, comes back in 2 hours and has another 2 hours of court, and now all of a sudden you get 9 hours of pay for that. Then again, if we say it's one term through, then are they just gonna stay on the clock? When the judges say they're going to lunch, are they just stay on the clock and walk around or sit around or say they're going down to assist the guys downstairs and then sit on the clock until after a 2-hour session in the afternoon? I don't know, man, why?
But they're still not gonna get paid 9.5 hours, even if they did that.
Well, that's what I'm wondering, if they're just gonna turn around and try to soak 9.5 hours out. I don't like the way it is now. And I think I go along with you, I'll guarantee you one block of 4.5. Then after that, you just make hourly. Because I don't think, I don't really know how often this short time court stuff happens and everything. But it has been brought up, and it's been brought up to me, and I just, it's not fair to the person that has to work here all day, you know? So I'd have to go, you're guaranteed 4.5 hour pay period during the day, and if you exceed that, then we go to hourly.
Commissioner Wiltie?
Yeah, this is a very easy decision for me. One shift. You know, we understood completely why we had to have this conversation. I know that I was misunderstood and, you know, partially maybe my blame to not knowing exactly what this states, but I never, ever would have agreed to getting 2 shifts paid. I mean, for example, if a bailiff or court security, they're here, they say they will come in at 10 o'clock and they have to work till 1:30, they're getting paid for 9 hours. It's not right. I mean, 4.5 hours guaranteed. Anything on top of that is hourly, real simple. So I really think it's important that we just one shift.
How I recall the conversation was we had quite a bit of conversation about this, that we were concerned that somebody wouldn't come in and cover an hour shift. Who's gonna drive here? Who's gonna come for an hour for $20? I definitely don't believe that I would. So that's how that was presented. I think now maybe we have how it's been interpreted in the past is now possibly being taken advantage of. I took it as a shift. This breakdown, I understand it a little bit clearer, but now what I'm concerned about is that individual who is not gonna come back for that second shift. And then are we gonna be looking at overtime? Are we gonna be looking at coverage? I guess then if that becomes an issue, they need to come back to us. I took this as a shift. I don't know how the courts run. I don't know if it's very unclear as far as how long they'll run, maybe an hour this shift, maybe 4 hours. I don't know anything about them, nor do I want to, but I took that as a shift. I see the point is working 4 hours and getting paid for 8. But again, look at their pay. Most of them are part-time, correct?
Yes, they're all part-time.
No benefits with that. There's no nothing with that.
They get sick leave and FICA.
You know, I was hoping when we made this decision that there was some leadership that could monitor scheduling and this type of stuff wouldn't happen. Unfortunately, we're not under that situation, but I did, when I voted on this, I took it as a shift. And again, a good leader would prevent this being taken advantage of. Unfortunately, that's not occurring.
Right.
So that is how I took it. Yes.
Well, we are in the process right now, and we've been in the process for a while, talking about a better system, having more leadership, one person in charge. So we are working on that, and that does need to get figured out. And it will, I know, you know, it's on our radar. But we also are over budget on this department. And I think this is part of the reason that we're over budget. So what have we done so far when we realize that we're over budget? We look at it. What is our problem? Why are we over budget? How do we fix it? We're fixing it.
Well, hopefully this doesn't, there's 3 of you stating what you want to do moving forward. Hopefully this doesn't present a staffing issue. If it does, I guess we'll discuss more then.
Okay.
So is that all the direction you needed?
Just one final question. Do you want this on the board to approve a formal resolution?
Yes.
Okay.
We need this very clear.
Next Thursday, right?
All right.
Yes. Commissioner comments. Commissioner Serbrook.
I really appreciate everybody's hard work and everything that they've been doing. Sure everybody's aware of, we got the resignation. Our treasurer today that she's going to be retiring. Karen's dedicated 28 years of her life to Ogemaw County. She's been doing a fantastic job and she's going to be sorely missed. took me by surprise when I got that email that said that she was gonna retire. I just wish her and Ed the best in their retirement years.
Mr. Mayhew? Mr. Scott?
No, I don't have anything, I don't think, no.
Commissioner Wiltie?
Mayor, Commissioner Serbrook, in regards to um Karen's retirement, I was also shocked, so. We will continue to move forward and we'll stay strong and united and we'll have to find to hopefully get a real strong treasurer in place, because Karen did a fantastic job. I'd also like to thank all the hardworking people this week. I mean, we had a good majority of our residents that were out of power, cold out. And I do want to give Mike Bowers some props. I know Mike was talked with Commissioner David a lot. He talked with myself a lot. You know, there was a lot of people for a lot of days without power, and it's good to see. I know as of this morning, we were only 300 and some people still out of power in South Branch area.
I think it's at 365 this morning.
365 this morning. So I thank Mike, thank all the utility workers, thank everybody out there. That ice situation, that's terrible stuff. So thank you to all involved, and glad we're almost done and past that.
And it sounds like you were a significant help as well. I did ask Mike to be on tonight, at least by televideo, just in case he had anything to add. Mike, are you there?
Yeah.
I am here. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yep. Would you like to add anything?
Oh, yes, it's been a very long week, and I tell you, I can't tell you how many people came together in order to respond to this disaster. It was extremely bad. We started off with 11,000 people without power on Monday morning. Our hospital was without power. Working with consumers, we were able to coordinate and help consumers get that hospital back online by mid-afternoon on Monday, and that was a really big deal. But just to give you guys an idea of the coordination in order to have all the information sharing and a fully coordinated response moving forward. So those organizations were Consumers Energy, uh, Michigan State Police, Emergency Management, Homeland Security Division, Ogemaw County Sheriff, Ogemaw EMS, all four of the primary affected fire departments. The chiefs and I communicated really well during that. The Road Commission really stepped up. The American Red Cross, both chapters, the East Bay chapter and Northern Michigan chapter, both stepped up to assist. Our CERT team, Community Emergency Response Team, put up and manned a lot of shelters. We had as many as 5 shelters going at any given time in the affected areas. 211 did a great job of fielding calls and making sure that we didn't have any unmet needs. And then, of course, working with My Michigan Hospital. So kudos to all of those. And also, Commissioner Wiltsey kind of sort of stepped up. We had a conversation, and he spent 2 nights in a 24-hour shelter. He operated that shelter overnight for 2 nights, and that was a really big deal. So I want to thank him, and I want to thank all of you guys for the support and the rest of the county. And if anybody does have an unmet need, they are welcome to still get a hold of me. My number is on ocmi.us under emergency management, and I'm glad to hear from anybody, public or doesn't matter.
Thanks, Mike.
Can I,
Oh, go ahead.
hey, Mike, I
Yes, sir.
know the governor declared Ogemaw as one in the disaster area. What can the general public expect as a result of that declaration made by the governor? What kind of
So-
assistance can they possibly apply for, or what?
Well, we won't know that until after the damage assessment is done.
Okay,
But what it has already done is given me the ability to request MDOT to come in and do final clearing on our roads The road commission has asked for about 12 roads, major transport roads going from one community to another, that has a lot of dangerous spots because of debris down either above the road or in the right of ways. So they asked if we can get MDOT, and because we do have the state declaration, I am allowed to request MDOT. I don't have the approval yet, but I expect to get an approval tomorrow for MDOT to be able to come in and take care of those 12 major roads for the road commission. Moving forward, next week, the state will be up here and we will be doing damage assessment. Damage assessment isn't quite what you would expect. It's just, is it affected, minor, major, or destroyed? Um, but you know, traditionally the state and the feds do neither of them do anything to help you with the cleaning up of your yard, but the disposal of that debris, there's several ways that we can approach it, and I'll be talking to you commissioners on which ways that you want to in order to help people get rid of the debris in their yards. um and during that damage assessment, the state's going to determine, and Governor Whitmer is going to determine whether or not she believes this will qualify for a presidential level declaration. And if that happens, then FEMA will come in, and they have the big purse. And um, I've already been talking with all the jurisdictions about making sure they save everything that they have involved with the storm, because very strong possibilities if it goes that way, we can get 75-25 reimbursement, 75% reimbursement from FEMA. So does that
Thank
answer your
you.
question?
Yes, it does.
Thanks, Mike.
Yep. You guys have a great night.
You too.
Thanks, Mike.
I wanted to add, I stopped at LaDonna's office for the Wall of Honor. And I'm gonna put in a recognition for Bruce Reeds from all of us. So I gotta gather some data as far as years of service, and anything to add to that. So I believe the deadline was April 1st, so I will put that together and I'll make sure you guys all see it and agree with it. And I just gotta find a contact person to give me all the data. So I would like to see Bruce up there. So, okay, public comment, any public comment? Come on up, sir. Do you have public comment?
Oh,
Do you have public comment?
we just got a meeting.
We got two chairs here.
Yes,
Come on up.
yes, you have public comment, you have to come on up, state your name.
We kind of have a question more than comment, but I'm sure most of you, Rob Kowalski from Edwards Township Supervisor. A lot of you may have heard or been involved with the assessor stepping down. And it's our understanding that 6 townships were affected by that. And if you're not, there has been no new construction reported 24 and 25 in the townships. Now, what that does is it skews the facts to the entire county. So when they put together their reports with Randy, they look at it and then they just figured in, and we can't add that data. We have to wait until next year. The problem we now face is the 154 process. We have to fill out a form on each property that was not reported. That goes to the state of Michigan. They will sit on that for up to 3 years before they come back with how much that assessment's changed. And then that taxpayer is responsible for 3 years back taxes.
Ooh.
And my understanding from Randy and from our new assessor, Allison, we don't have an option in that. And Randy said if you go to the state, they won't do anything. They'll say hire a new assessor, which is what most of us have done, but that doesn't fix the problem. We were just nailed with overload of Amish.
Mhm.
And we have a lot of new homes and a ton of outbuildings. And I guess the new standard is when you do 154 now, they only want large construction. So a dock or a deck or maybe a shed, they're not concerned about, but it's our decision. What is new construction large? So do you look at a barn that went up on Raw Road? Do you look at a house on Greenwood, or do you not look at the shed on Stillwagon? So I don't know where the commissioners stand on this. But I guess for me, is this going to be allowed in Ogemaw County? I mean, are we gonna let assessors do this to these townships? Because they've hurt us, not just with our tax money, but you're not collecting any shares in the county, right? Because that new construction is not on the books. So you're missing out on funds, we missed out on funds, the school misses out, right? Everybody is in this trickle down problem. And are they allowed to keep their license and do business in Ogemaw County? And this is fact, this is not guesswork. This conversation came right from equalization. And I know that you had a conversation with Randy, right? As I think most of you did.
That's the entire board.
So the problem is if we can't stop it and the state's not gonna do anything to fix it, how does a county let somebody practice business and do this to the townships?
But
Van Warmer,
them,
Van Warmer Associates was brought in 2008.
2013.
2013. We had a complete re-evaluation. The state said you must hire an outside assessor,
correct.
right? So we hired them, just like you hired them. The problem is when new construction comes in, we don't know about it till the following year. Because the permits go in, they get turned in, construction gets reevaluated, and then you go from a 0 on a new build to 100% on a completion, right? If they don't do that for the year, we have no idea that's happening.
But that's up to your township and your township assessor to go around and assess so many.
It's up to the township assessor,
Correct.
and even Randy stated, I'm not their boss. Nobody checks them.
Correct.
So if that's the case, I mean, do we allow them to keep operating in Ogemaw County when this isn't, I mean, this is the norm, this isn't the exception.
I guess this has already been taken care of. You hired a new assessor.
We did hire a new assessor.
Okay.
The issue that we're talking about is for people that are gonna get stuck paying 3 or at least 3 years in back taxes, which they would have paid anyways. But, you know, I guess we don't know if there's any recourse or if the county's even interested in any recourse
Okay.
with this.
Fabian, I mean, this is obviously something that should be on committee of the whole for roundtable discussion, but
County doesn't have any jurisdiction in this.
Gonna make a comment on Dale Shelton. Can I make a comment on, I live in Edwards and
Go ahead.
former assessor
Yeah,
there
yep.
a long time ago. The issues that started, number one, the assessment notices didn't go out on time. You have to have a 14-day notice on the assessment notices. They didn't go out on time. The main issue there was, I think, in Edwards, there was 8 Amish families moved in 24. They got permits and built houses, and those houses went on the tax roll. There was 5 more houses went up this year in 25.
yep.
They didn't go on the tax roll, but they weren't completed by December 31st, which is the cutoff date. And there's no, if the assessor would have said it's 50% done or 75%, but there's 0 on it. So the solution, I mean, there's other problems with the assessing out there. The homestead exemption didn't go on or went on 5 parcels that I know where people got double exceptions for homesteads. They got the assessment notice, didn't see the box where it said homestead exemption, and they already had one. So one case has already been flagged by the Department of Treasury, and he had to take his tax bill, drive to Lansing to get that resolved. So my opinion is that the new assessor comes in and does the assessing and puts everything on the next year's roll, instead of trying to go back 1 year, 2 years, or 3 years. You have to go to Lansing to fight it. So the process, so.
I don't think we have any say in
Yeah,
this.
again, that's a township issue.
Well, it's, the option is on the form, the equalization director can request it, or the township assessors. So if Randy's not going to request it, then it's later in the.
Then it could possibly stay local and would not be held up for a 3-year or a 2.5 year sleepover in Lansing until they decide what to do. So the way we read it is if equalization doesn't push that 154, we may not have to file that on our taxpayers.
So you're saying they would get all those years just for free?
Well, it wouldn't be for free necessarily, but what we would do is they would be added to the tax roll for 27. They would be brought into 26, and then the new assessor would have to, instead of hitting them with 100% new construction, maybe we could do something where it's you should have been hit with a 40% and gradually bring it up to free. I don't think anybody's expecting not to pay taxes, but if we're gonna hit them or try to hit them with 2 or 3 years at one time, most people can't do that without it being a hardship to them.
I'd like to hear from Randy. I don't even think we have any say in this at all. My townships each have their own assessor. The assessor's at every meeting pretty much, and questions are brought about. I don't. Before we give an opinion, I'd like to know if we even should.
Okay,
And these people are licensed through the state.
they are.
Yes.
They're not licensed through the county.
No, they're licensed through the state. And again,
If anybody's gonna say they can't do business, it's gotta be the state says.
Right.
okay,
Yeah, why don't you
Don't
send me
fight
an
up or-
email that outlines your
Okay.
concerns,
Sure.
have a discussion with Randy and see what our options.
yeah, that'd be great. I mean, we're just trying not to cause real hardship for these people. And I mean, the sad part is I'm sure gonna go out and get a job, and I'm not saying they don't have funds, but I wouldn't want to pay 3 years of back taxes. I don't think anybody would.
Right.
So we just need to know if there's an option of this, or
Okay.
if we're just stuck
Yeah.
with it.
We'll get his
Send-
opinion.
Like I said, send me an email outlining what your concerns are and what you'd like us to consider, and then I can have a discussion with Randy and.
Fantastic.
Thank you,
Just want
guys.
to have some kind of an answer. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other public comment? Any public comment on the phone? Motion to adjourn?
Yep.
Report?
You know,